Hi, this is English Sandwich. My name is Hannah. Today we're learning how you can practice and improve your English by reading short stories, news articles, and other English content. If you're new here, English Sandwich is a Twitch channel where we learn English with live English lessons, we play games, and we stream other content to help you learn and practice English. So go over there and follow if you haven't already. And if you are a subscriber on Twitch, then you have a worksheet that goes along with our lesson. So we are reading a short story today. The worksheet has vocabulary from the story. It has practice problems for you to do. It has some phrasal verbs from the story and the grammar topics that we're talking about today, as well as some reading questions. So we're starting a new series where we are reading some popular literature and news articles, and our goal is to take these readings and pull English from these readings. What can we learn about writing and about language from this story? So today we're reading a story by BJ Novak. You probably know him from The Office. He plays the character Ryan, and he's also a writer for the show, and he has a book called One More Thing: Stories and Other Stories. Today we're reading a story called All You Have to Do, and if you have not read the story yet, you can click on the link in the description to read it. It's very short, and you can also listen to the author, BJ Novak, reading the story. So you can listen to him and his voice reading his story. So we won't read the whole story on our video today, but I want to pull out some grammar and some vocabulary from the story to help us to better understand it and learn how can we take something that we read and learn some grammar from it. So let's read the beginning of the story. I wear a bright red t-shirt every single day. I've been doing it for years. That's all you have to do to meet the girl of your dreams. It sounds easy, doesn't it? Now let's stop here. We see an interesting question here, and maybe this is new for you in English, and maybe it's not new. It sounds easy, doesn't it? This part of the question, doesn't it, is called a tag question. We tag a question on to the end of a sentence. So we put a question on the end of a sentence. So if you see something while you are reading and you're not sure what is the writer doing here, I don't know what this is, that's a good time to stop and think about it. So let's talk about tag questions and why it's here, why is he using this question, and how can we use tag questions. So first, to understand that, we have the word here, doesn't. So doesn't is a contraction. So in English, when we use negative sentences, we say no to something, we use the word not. We can say I do not, I cannot, I will not, I did not. These are negative sentences. And we put the verb plus not together and we make a new word called a contraction. So these are some of the most common contractions in English using not. And you can see we have the past tense, the present tense, and the future tense. So let's read them. Past, was not, wasn't. Were not, weren't. Did not, didn't. Had not, hadn't. Could not, couldn't. Would not, wouldn't. Present tense, is not, isn't. Are not, aren't. Do not, don't. Does not, doesn't. Have not, haven't. Has not, hasn't. Cannot, can't. Should not, shouldn't. Must not, mustn't. Will not, won't. Shall not, shan't. Shall not is not as common. This is more formal English and older English. I don't say shan't in my daily conversations. So this word is not very common. And also note that if you are writing an academic paper, writing something for school, usually you do not use the contraction form of the verb. You will just use the full 2 words, are not, do not, have not. But in speaking and conversation and informal writing, we often use the contraction. So now that we know how to make the negative in English, let's use these in a tag question. The first example we have is, it's hot today, isn't it? So here I'm making a statement. It's hot today. I believe it's hot today. Now I want you to believe the same thing. Or I want to know if you agree with me. Or maybe you don't agree with me. So I tell you, it's hot today. Now I want you to agree or disagree. Isn't it? They like the burgers, don't they? So I'm making a statement, they like the burgers, and I want to know if you agree or disagree with me. Or I want you to notice that they really like the burgers. You had fun, didn't you? I noticed that you had fun, and I want you to tell me more about it. Tell me if you really had fun. He was athletic, wasn't he? So you can see the tag question uses the same words as the subject and verb of the sentence. It is hot, isn't it? But you can see that it's negative. We have a positive sentence, it is hot, and we have a negative tag question, isn't it? They like the burgers, don't they? So they like is in the present simple tense. There's no helping verb here. There's no auxiliary verb here, but the verb is do. When we use the present simple tense, the question word is do. They do like the burgers, don't they? You had fun. This is in the past tense, and it's the past simple tense, so we use did. You did have fun. So you had fun, didn't you? You did have fun. And here, he was athletic, wasn't he? So it's the same words. He was not he. And you can do the same thing with negative statements. It isn't hot today, is it? It isn't hot today, is it? So here we have the negative, it is not. And in the tag question, it's positive, is it? They don't like the burgers, do they? They don't, do they? You didn't have fun, did you? You didn't, did you? He wasn't athletic, was he? He wasn't, was he? Now you notice the intonation of my question is a little different from a normal question. Usually in English, a question has a rising intonation. That means our voice goes up. What is your name? How are you? Do you like apples? The intonation is different in a tag question. It isn't hot today, is it? They don't like the burgers, do they? You can hear it's actually a falling intonation on the tag question because I want you to confirm that what I'm saying is the same as what you think. It isn't hot today, is it? Now, if I really don't know the answer and I want to ask you the question, I can say it a little differently. Listen to these 2 examples. You didn't have fun, did you? That's a falling intonation. I don't think you had fun. and I want you to confirm. Now, this sentence has a rising intonation. You didn't have fun, did you? You didn't have fun, did you? In this example, I don't know if you had fun or not. I think that you did not have fun. Some other examples of tag questions are right, correct, don't you think so, or just think so, okay, huh, shall we, ain't it, isn't it? These tag questions are a little different. They don't follow the same grammar structure, but these are common words that we will tag to the end of a sentence to ask for confirmation. We ask, do you agree with me or do you disagree? Let's go back to the story and read the tag question again. I'll read the first part of the story. I wear a bright red t-shirt every single day. I've been doing it for years. That's all you have to do to meet the girl of your dreams. It sounds easy, doesn't it? So here we have the simple present tense again. It is our subject and sounds is the verb. This is the present simple tense. So we have the verb do. Do goes with the simple present tense. We have the subject it, so it needs to be conjugated. We add s. It does, doesn't it? It sounds easy, doesn't it? We could ask that with a rising intonation. It sounds easy, doesn't it? Or a falling intonation. It sounds easy, doesn't it? They mean the same thing, but they just have a slightly different feeling. It sounds easy, doesn't it? Is asking a question. It sounds easy, doesn't it? Is telling me it sounds easy. So these are tag questions. They're very common in English conversation, in informal writing and speaking. So for the people who are subscribed on Twitch, thank you all so much. I want to go over some of the reading questions that are on your worksheet. So after you've read the story or you've listened to the story, we can talk about some elements that will help us understand the story a little better. So the first one is the narrator. The narrator is the person who is talking in the story. It's not the writer, it's not the author, it's the character or the voice that is speaking. So who is the narrator in this story? They say I wear a bright red t-shirt. So the narrator is the person who wears a bright red t-shirt. Now we can think about the tone of the writing. The tone is the voice of the story. Is it formal or is it informal? Is it serious? Is it funny? Does it change in the story? Does it stay the same? We also see some fragments in the writing. For example, maybe I take my dog for a walk in the park. When we see fragments, we know that this isn't a formal piece of writing. Also, we can tell that it's humorous. And what's fun about this story is it sounds like the narrator is very serious. He or she or they have a very ritualistic practice that they do every day. That means that they do the same thing every day. This is a very serious goal for them. But for the reader, it's funny. How do we know it's funny? Sometimes when we're reading in a different language, it's hard to tell if something is funny or serious. So some ways we know it's funny are, he says, I've been doing it for years. This person has been wearing a bright red t-shirt every day for years. And they say, it's easy, it's so easy, just wear a red t-shirt, no problem, and you will find the person of your dreams. They say, that is a very interesting question, one that I think about a lot. I will let you know what I do when that comes up. So they have never been successful with this idea, even though they say, it sounds easy, doesn't it? So that's one way that you can tell that this is a funny story, it's humorous. Also, they tell you, go to this website called Misconnections, type in red shirt, don't put it in quotes. This person is being serious, but for us, it's a little funny. The tense of the story is in the present tense. We know that because they say, I wear. It sounds easy. It is easy. I wear a shirt. They're talking about something that happens every single day. The last thing that we talked about on our Twitch stream is called dramatic irony. Dramatic irony is when the reader, you, knows more than the character or the characters in the story. So in this story, the character, the narrator, has been wearing a bright red shirt every day for years, and they still have not found their partner. But they still think this is a great idea. It's definitely going to work. And for us, the reader, we can see that, well, maybe it's not such a great idea if it still hasn't worked yet. So that's one example of dramatic irony. It's fun to look for that as you're reading and realize some things that the character in the story doesn't know, but you do know. I hope you enjoyed reading this story from BJ Novak. This is a very accessible book. It has conversational English, very common English that we use every day. So if you are learning English, I would really recommend this book as a fun and easy read for you to practice. So next week we will be reading another story from this book. So thank you. Please, if you have any questions, leave a comment or join us on Twitch and ask a question. We stream almost every day of the week. We stream English lessons, games, and other content to help you learn English. And if you're a subscriber, you can get a worksheet that goes right along with these YouTube videos and it has practice for you with new vocabulary, phrasal verbs, grammar exercises, and some reading questions as well. So thank you, follow, like, and I'll see you next time.